Hi guys, welcome back to another lesson on geometry. In today's lesson we're going to look at naming triangles. So we're going to first start by naming triangles based on their side lengths. So we can name them in two ways. We can name them based on the lengths of their sides or based on their angles. And so we're going to learn both of those today. So the first thing you'll notice here are these little lines. So 1, 2, 3. Now, when two lines have the same symbol on them, the same number of lines, like this, let me rephrase that. When two sides have the same number of lines, that means those side lengths are equal in size. So in this case, 1, 2, 3 side lengths are all equal. So when lengths are all equal, we call this an equilateral triangle. Equal for equilateral. Another triangle, and I'm going to use this example. It's like a star. We've got our two legs and the triangle formed there. Now you can see here, people typically have the same length legs, which is why I use this example, because we can see that these two side lengths are the same. Now we don't just assume they're the same, we have to be shown by these little symbols here. So these two are the same and this bottom length is its own length. So when we have two equal, and I wrote legs because that's where the word isosceles come from. Isosceles means two or equal legs, and we've got equal legs here, or two equal legs, so we've got an isosceles triangle. And then our last triangle, we can see that all three lengths are different. Not only can we just see that they look different, but also none of them have the same symbol, which means that they're all different. So when we have three different lengths, this is called a scalene triangle. So we have an equilateral, an isosceles, and a scalene. So let's now start looking at naming triangles based on their angle size. So if a triangle has a right angle at all, we call this a we've got a right angle and we've got a scalene because none of these lengths are the same. So we call this a right angled scalene triangle. So when you're asked to name a triangle, you are basing this on its angle and its lengths. Now, in your worksheet, it'll have different triangles it wants you to draw. So don't just copy mine. It might say, I think the first one is a right angle equilateral. This is a right angle, but it's not an equilateral. An equilateral, all three sides have to be the same. Oh, why did I do that? I can't do an equilateral. Maybe I did an isosceles. I think I might have done an isosceles then. So two sides have to be the same. Can't do an equilateral because an equilateral, all three angles are the same. And then this one, we have three lengths that are the same. So this is what I was saying. All equilaterals, all three lengths are the same, which means that all three angles are equal. So the angles are acute. It's an equilateral triangle, so we call it an acute angled equilateral triangle. Now, if all three angles are going to be the same, and we know that all three angles add up to 180, and I'll write this on here, that means that each of these, if I can, are 60 degrees, because 60 plus 60 plus 60 gives us 180. So all three lengths are the same. And our last one we're going to talk about in terms of naming their angle size is this triangle here. Now, although it has two acute angles, if it has at all an obtuse angle in the triangle, we call it an obtuse triangle. So the angle is obtuse, the side lengths make it a scalene, so it's an obtuse angled scalene triangle. Okay, so finally we're going to just quickly talk about, can we use our knowledge of triangles to find out if the angles are the same? So in this case, I know I said this before, so I'm just going to skim over this. We know that each of these are 60 degrees. So in an equilateral triangle, all side lengths are equal and all angles are equal. And in the last one we're going to talk about, which is the isosceles, this angle at the top here is different to these two, but these two bottom ones are identical. So when we have two side lengths the same, the bottoms of those, so this is where those side lengths meet, that one will be different, but these two here will always be the same as well. So remember, if you have any questions, please make sure you ask, otherwise we'll see you in the next lesson. Thanks guys!